Hey there, Eli coming at you from OSA Coventry here today with a really fun nano fish for a freshwater aquarium. I have behind me here some little Scarlet Badis, and it's been quite a while since we've gotten these at OSA, so I figured it was time for a little spotlight on these guys. These are a really interesting small species of fish. They are a true nano fish. Most of the times they're only going to reach about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch full grown, but they generally are not going to get terribly large. These are a really fun fish to add, especially to a very well-planted aquarium. They come from Asia, in areas that offer them very many hiding spots, so they tend to behave the most appropriately, and they tend to display very well in an aquarium that is very well planted. So generally keeping these guys in a planted aquarium of 5+ gallons is going to be the most appropriate to make sure that they are behaving properly and to get the best coloration and pattern out of these fishes. Like I mentioned, the Scarlet Badis come from small water bodies in Asia, and these tend to be very well planted areas, so adding these fish to a tank that has plenty of hiding spots is going to be best for them. They are a micro predator, so offering them some sort of meaty food is definitely most appropriate. When they are about this size, offering really small things like Daphnia, baby bride shrimp are always a really good option. Offering those frozen foods once or twice a day in small quantities is going to be important in keeping them fat and happy. And a lot of times in a very well densely planted aquarium, especially more of a black water type setup, you might end up with lots of small crustaceans naturally in the tank, small copepods, amphipods, things like that these guys will graze on throughout the day. That being said, a lot of time the Scarlet Badis will still take to some prepared foods. One of my favorites to feed these guys would be the hikari micro pellets, as these are generally of a good grain size for these small fish to still be able to catch and eat. And a lot of times they can be trained to eat flake food too, especially if you crush it up to a fine dust before offering it to them. Males of this species tend to be a lot more bright. There are a few nice males in here that have some really cool vertical red bars to them, and a lot of times they're going to get this blue spangling in between those bars that just looks really attractive. Keeping these in small groups is usually appropriate in the aquarium, again, as long as you have a good amount of hiding spots for them. Males do get a little bit territorial with each other, but generally these disputes only really end up with them chasing each other a little bit. And as long as you have about maybe 10 gallons of space, adding a few of these to the aquarium, especially if it is well planted, should be no hard task, as they'll usually just kind of set up their own territories, space each other out appropriately, and you get some cool interactions when they do happen to cross paths, but they generally do not cause harm to each other. Whereas the males are usually a attractive red with some blue pattern going on to them, a lot of times the females are going to be more of a dull silver or olive color in appearance. These are still an attractive fish, and they are something that if you did keep them in small groupings, some people have had success with breeding them in the aquarium setting. Again, this is going to come down to offering them a lot of hiding spaces, offering them a good varied diet, and keeping that water on the softer, warmer, and cleaner side of things. But generally, these are a fish that has been captive bred in the aquarium setting as well, and they're quite a rewarding fish to watch their breeding behavior. As the males and females show off for each other, it's kind of fun to watch that in the aquarium. As with the Scarlet Badis, there are a few other species of Badis. There's another called a black tiger Badis that happens to be one of my favorites. Very similar in appearance, but a little bit darker coloration. And there are a few other Badis species as well that we sometimes run across in the aquarium setting. But generally, the Scarlet Badis is going to be the most common, probably the most popular species of Badis to keep in a freshwater aquarium. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you learned a little bit about the Scarlet Badis in this video. As always, feel free to leave comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below, and keep it fishy.